Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. We are so excited that once again you have taken the time to join us tonight. We hope everyone has had a great Tuesday. I'm telling you, it's just been a great day. It's been a hot day here. And so we are so glad to see each and every one of you. Hello, Monique. It's good to see you. And I see Dr. Brown, our dad, and Renita, a sister, and hey, there's Aunt Joyce. Hey, it's good to see you tuning in with us tonight. We're so glad that you are here. We want to invite you to go ahead and share Tea Time Tuesday on your social media platforms. And we are streaming live over there on our YouTube channel. So we want to make sure that you are liking and subscribing our YouTube channel. We want to get everyone on board. So go ahead and tag your friends. You got enough time to tag your friends. Invite your friends, invite your family members to another time of pause, reset, and building resilience. You know what? We are in anticipation tonight for our renewal practices. I'm so excited. Don't forget your tea. So everybody has their tea. I have mine and your tea time journal because we are in for a treat tonight. So once again, those of you that are tuning in, go ahead and share this broadcast, and then go ahead and invite your friends to join us. So we are so glad to be kicking off a new week, but then we're closing out the month of June here at the Renewal Center. Hello, Dr. Brown. Hello, Dad. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're closing out the month of June, and our tea of the week is blackberry tea. I love blackberry tea. I hope you guys like blackberry tea. It's pretty good. Blackberry tea is our tea of the week here at the Renewal Center. It is known to be served hot or cold. It's a very invigorating tea. And most of the times people will drink it hot, but because of the summer months, it's a very good drink to drink during these hot summer days like today. And so there are many variations and combinations of blackberry tea recipes out there that you can use. And then you can even steep this particular type of tea with the berries, the dry berries, the black tea, bring them all together, put your sweetener of choice in there and enjoy. So our tea of the week is blackberry tea.
All right, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time. Excited to be here with all of you on the Tea Time community. Just thankful to be here with all of you this evening. And welcome to any new people that are joining Tea Time this evening. We want to welcome you to our Tea Time community. Excited to have you here tonight. And we're just going to go ahead as we do every week. And we're going to go ahead into our locate ourselves. And that's a time where we pause, reset, okay? And just to locate ourselves, okay? So what we do is we kind of close our eyes, kind of relax your shoulders, and just get into a place where we're just locating ourselves. We're going to take a moment to do that right now. Just a few more seconds. This is great. All right. Isn't that great? As we locate ourselves, we're taking a time to pause, just taking a time to center ourselves, taking a time to just pause and just breathe
Yeah.
and just feels so great to just to locate ourselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and move into our tea time this evening and go ahead and turn it over to Patrick.
All right, thank you, Hope Carmela. It's good to be here this evening. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, you have settled down with your tea of choice today, and we're going to really unwind and focus on our renewal practices today. So, I just want to welcome everybody. Please like, please share, tag your friends, tag them, let them know we're here. Let's get the likes up, let's get the engagement up this evening. Hopefully, you're settled with your tea. Could be on your balcony, might be on your porch, might be just in the comfort of your space. And we want you to engage with us this evening. This is all about us refreshing and resetting ourselves. And we increase resilience through communities like this. And so, all of our tea timers, hello. All of our new tea timers, welcome. Good to see all of you this evening. I wanted to take some time as we close out the month of June here at the Renewal Center. One of our areas of focus is renewing minds and also restoring lives. And we do that by pausing. We do that by taking time to disconnect, but also reset in atmospheres like this. So if you're out there, let me know, what is your tea of choice? Go ahead and grab your tea and connect with us this evening. I have my team with me. So good to have Carmela and Hope here, who not only just serve here with me as part of the mission and vision of the Renewal Center, but in their own way, they have some incredible business ideas, both for profit, nonprofit, and different ministry initiatives. And we're going to create some renewal practices. I wanted to take some time to use their content to develop renewal practices. And so that's what we're going to focus on this evening, using their content to develop renewal practices. Renita says she has water. Samaya has green tea with honey. All right, well, cheers. This is our time for community and engagement and resilience to really foster renewal practices, which is about your well-being. It is about the wellness of your body, your soul, your spirit, the totality of who you are. And so part of the reason why I'd like to do this evening is because I think it's important. Nurse Medic says, lemon water. All right. Lemon water, very healthy, very good, very cleansing. All right. And what I'd like to do this evening is show you the importance of, when you're reading material, whether it's inspirational, motivational, spiritual, transformative literature, how important it is for you to pause and really extract from what you're reading what we call renewal practices. All right, Moringa, apple, and cinnamon. I have ginger honey plus zinc this evening. That's what I have. Hope, Mel, hope you probably have Earl Grey. Yes? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mel, what you got over there?
I have lavender and citrus, some kind
Lavender
of.
and citrus. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So I want to go into our renewal practices this evening. Please make sure you get your journals out and get yourself settled. And I'm going to introduce our renewal practices for this evening. But I want to introduce this in a way that you will know who we're drawing from as far as the content. All right. We're going to draw content specifically from Hope's book, which is The Making of a Diamond. All right. The Making of a Diamond, My Personal Journey. We're going to draw from her book. So if you have her book, go ahead and grab it. All right. If you don't, we'll help you locate that as well and order that. And then we're also going to draw from Carmela Head's book, which is Be Transformed, Empowering You for Destiny. See, when I get books, I read them, I engage them, I sit with them, I locate myself in the literature, but it also locates me. And I try to extract renewal practices. So what I took the liberty to do was to have these two authors on, and utilizing their content, I sat with it and began to think through, how can I renew myself using the content of their books. Now, one of the things I want to say about Carmela, not only is she my sister, but she's also the owner of First Glance LLC. She's the managing director of that. And that is a an incredible approach to coaching and consulting and development. And so she's has incredible years of facilitating and blogging as a podcaster as well. She's the author of the book as well. But I also want to share that she's enriching her knowledge in biblical studies at Moody Bible Institute. She holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. She also has a master's degree in human relations from the University of Oklahoma and a certificate of learning and development from the University of North Carolina here in Charlotte. So we want to welcome Carmela, and we're going to be using her content from Be Transform, Empowering You for Destiny. We'll bring this back up here shortly. So I just want to welcome Carmela, and also want to welcome Hoti Melton. All right. Not only is she a colleague of mine and also part of our leadership team and a friend as well. Thank you for being part of the Renewal Center. And to introduce what Hope does, she's also the founder of Hope Diamonds Ministries. And so through that, she's what she has coined the ID strategist. And so she believes that true transformation can only occur when we discover and understand who we are. And from that, that shifts our thinking to enhance our lives. She's the author of The Making of a Diamond, My Personal Journey, and the Journal Companion, The Making of a Diamond Journal as well. She has a Bachelor of Technology from Ashford University and a Master's of Divinity in Biblical Studies and Theology from Hope Bible Institute in Newberry, Ohio. And so I just wanted to share that because I don't think I've ever shared some of your educational and certifications and backgrounds. So it's good to highlight others. All right. So let's dive into this. For those of you that are out there watching, I'd like to know, what do you think when you see this image? What are you seeing when you look at this image? Take a moment. Ravella says blueberry hibiscus. Thank you for sharing. All right. Anybody else, please feel free to share your tea of choice, all right, as we're doing this as well. I'd like you to share with us, what do you see when you look at this particular image? So let's engage each other this evening. As you're looking at this, Carmela, Hope, what are you seeing with this image? Nurse Medic says, missing piece. Interesting. Missing piece. Carlisa, good evening. Good evening to you as well. Tina says, out of position. All right. Renita says, breaking the mold. Please feel free. Let's get those comments in. Please share with us your thoughts on this. Mel Hope, what are you seeing with this image?
I'm seeing the color. Well, of course, the color red is different than the other colors there. So I say that it stands out.
Stands out. All right. Yes. Thank you. Hope, what you seeing?
For me, I'm seeing it's just kind of like being who you are. As you know, always use authenticity, being who you are. I really love Renita's comment where she has breaking the mold. It's like, you know, coming out of the uniform type look, and then you just come out and you're just you're just being. So that's what I see when I see that.
So missing piece, out of position. Thank you for sharing that. Breaking the mold, a piece set apart, setting a new standard. So one of the things I chose that image because as I was reading both the books and I began to develop my renewal practice for this evening, also we have another comment coming in, stepping out of the norm. All right. So I'd like us to work on how do we extract a renewal practice from what we're reading. And so I want to start out, first of all, with this image. And I want to go to you, Carmela, first and kind of really think through two things. A couple of things I want to focus on this evening is in your book, you have a section about the extraordinary. So I want everyone, if you will, what does extraordinary mean to you? And then we're going to dive into some questions specifically from Carmela's book on Be Transformed. There's a section here on the extraordinary and how important it is for us to really think as an extraordinary individual. And I began to meditate on that and think through that as my own renewal practice this week, actually. And how when I recognize when I'm extraordinary, I have a desire and a drive to be authentically who I am. I take a different view of myself. I begin to see myself in a way that's unique and different. So I'd like to hear from you. When you think of the word extraordinary, what comes to your heart? What comes to your mind? And then in Carmela's book, I want to walk through 3 specific descriptions and definitions that she will use that helps us really understand extraordinary. So Carmela, when you wrote that chapter, just really briefly, what came to mind when you started writing about extraordinary? If you could just briefly share that with us. And as you share that, I'd like to hear the comments coming from our audience. And then I'm going to show the slide and we're going to walk through a renewal practice using your chapter. Go right ahead.
Yes, when I wrote that chapter, Extraordinary, one of the things that I realized while I was writing that is the passion to tell others and the passion that we all have within us, extraordinary. There's something extraordinary. There's something that's gone far beyond the usual within each and every one of us. I get excited because when I think of extraordinary, it reminds me of our fingerprint. I always say that because we're one of a kind. There is no other person like us in the whole world. We're the only ones with our special fingerprint. And so that sets us apart. That sets us different than anyone else. And that goes back to being very unique. Of course, you'll be talking about that later, but extraordinary to me means the uniqueness that we all have, our own individualized pattern, the original design for each and every one of us. And that makes me so excited when I talk about that. And that's why I wrote that chapter, because I believe that the extraordinary begins and already is on the inside and in the core of each and every individual. We all have something unique to bring to the table. That is extraordinary.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, because I begin to think about this from a perspective that when many of us, when we're born into this world, we're born with this genius. We are born with the extraordinary, but many times how we're socialized and reared, it begins to put that fire out about what we believe about ourselves. Sometimes we get into connections with people, we relate to other people, we become friends with other people, we certain careers and jobs that we go into, depending on our colleagues or a boss or a department. And many times it's like it's structured to cause you to not think about your extraordinary capacity or competence.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear from the audience. What are your thoughts on that? Because we really want to focus on how we can grow in this in our mindset. Ravella says beyond the ordinary. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else, your ideas and your thoughts on this, and why are we approaching this? As I was reading this, here's an example. I was struggling specifically within my doctoral program. You both know that I'm in my doctoral program and about to end actually one of my very last core course, which is incredible. And I began to think about how I was struggling with some writing transitions on shifting from this literary approach to writing, this imaginative, illusion-based creative expression of writing, to a more precise, exact type of writing that's required for a business type of doctorate. So I struggled with that, but I acknowledged it. I acknowledged the extraordinary about my own capacity in writing, but also my willingness to recognize that, again, I had the ability to acknowledge and become aware of what I needed to grow and develop in, and acknowledging my own uniqueness or my own extraordinary approach to writing. So I began to take some time. I spent some time with a professor, began to talk through what I needed to begin to, revise or reframe in my perspective. But I also began to do that in my own thinking. And I was able to turn some things around, and I began to factually look at how I was able to turn things around. So I had a struggle, and it didn't dim the extraordinary that was in me. I began to recognize I'm extraordinary in the area that I'm able to write, but now let me ensure that I'm able to develop it and sharpen my skill set in those areas. So when we think about extraordinary, here's what we're thinking about. Why are you unusual, uncommon, and unique? Those are 3 words that Carmela uses in her definition about extraordinary, unusual. Now, most of the time, when people think about unusual, what they're doing is they're thinking and considering, they're thinking through, I would say, how something is considered negative or something like that. And so I think that's important that we really rethink how we're, I would say, perceiving the term unusual or the term extraordinary. So first thing I want us to think about is unusual itself is considered negative in some instances, but how important it is for us to redefine or reevaluate the words that we're using. So Carmela, what are your thoughts on that? And Hope, also want you to chime in, because I know this is not necessarily from your book, but I'd like to hear from your thoughts regarding extraordinary as well.
Well, I'm going to say that those words that you're going to put on the screen, and even in terms of extraordinary, there are a lot of synonyms that line up to the word extraordinary. But sometimes when we look at those words, like you said, they may come off or initially may be seen as negative, in a negative light. But on the contrary, there are positive words and distinctive words that empower us. But we're so used to just using the word great or the word extraordinary, but there are so many other words that are positive words, and they have some strong meanings, but we hardly identify those words with ourselves. And with each and every one of our individual gifts, talents, and skills, our attributes, all of these things line up to these words that you're going to be sharing in a few minutes. But sometimes when we look at the word extraordinary, we say, oh no, we equate that with something else instead of ourselves.
Yes. And I want to encourage people, it's okay to be unusual and uncommon. It's okay to be unusual. I think Renita also made a statement here about uniqueness.
Right.
And why are we discussing this from this perspective? It is because many times we are encouraged not to be unusual.
Mm-hmm.
We are encouraged to be common, like everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in our lane, stay in our area, sit in a corner somewhere. And that happens even as you move into professional development as well. It happens when you're in different environments where you may have others, or you might have an environment or a climate or a culture that does not foster this mindset of being extraordinary. Hope, what thoughts do you have on that, as far as how does this relate to your perspective on this renewal practice today?
Well, for me, it changes the perspective of who you know yourself to be. It changes the lens and the focus on just with those particular words, that you can embrace another side of who you are. I always say that there's nothing common about any of us. Okay, we're all unique, all special. And so when that part of the book and those particular words bring another light and another perspective to who you are, and that brings details to be able to really embrace who you are in totality, with using these particular words and understanding that you are unique. It's okay to be unique. And like you were saying, Carmela, sometimes it's used in a negative context, but it is not. Uniqueness is great. Uniqueness is authenticity, and uniqueness is a part of who we're created to be, outside of the norm, or with the normal society will try to shape us and mold us into being. And so this is great. I really appreciate those words, because you use different words, and in the different words, it enlightens us and gives us another perspective of who we are.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
And I like everyone to think through this. I would like you to answer a question. Just perhaps you're using your journal, or you're just taking this time, you could place it in the chat. But I want you to think about, why are you, or what makes you specifically unusual? Now, really think about this and really consider what makes you unusual, what makes you uncommon, and what makes you unique, and write that down. Describe it. Think through it. Take your time with this. Let's take some time to really think through, why are you unusual? Now, you're saying, well, why are we doing this practice? We're doing this practice because many times we don't hone in on our unusual nature. We don't concentrate on what makes us who we are. Sometimes we shun it because of social norms, because of certain standards, because of hidden rules within our work environments, or even sometimes our connections with others. So I want you to really think through this, and really this week as a renewal practice, hone in on what makes you unusual. Some people say, what makes you quirky? What makes you you? And really highlight it. And don't shun away from it. Don't shy away from it, but really dive directly into your unusual nature, your uncommon nature, and your uniqueness. And that's what's going to cause you to be fine-tuned. All right? So go ahead, Mel. Please share.
I'll say this real quick. When I think about the word unusual, if you were to look it up, you would see that it would mean exceptional, remarkable, and outstanding. So now it takes on a whole new meaning when you say, oh, I'm unusual, which means I'm remarkable and outstanding in so many areas. So now the negative connotation of what we thought unusual is just the opposite.
Yes. And it's so interesting that we use the word unusual. And I like to really camp out on that. I really want to camp out on unusual, uncommon, unique. Because when we use extraordinary, we don't really think about it from that perspective. So Tea Timers, let's pause for a moment and let's take a time to really think through about what makes you unusual. Now write it down, think about it. And it's something that sometimes you got to think about that and really replay it over in your head, because many times what we do, we don't look at what's unusual. We don't use that term about ourselves. Unusual. I'm not unusual. If somebody says, you're very unusual, Kamel, and you're going to be like, huh? I'm not unusual. Yes, you are. We don't really see that as a positive connotation. And so as I was going through this, I really began to rethink some things about myself. And I appreciate this as I was looking in your book again. And again, everyone, this is from Carmela Head's book, Be Transformed, Empowering You for Destiny. What I'm trying to do and get accomplished today is, when we think about a renewal practice, it is about extracting content that you utilize for self-transformation. It's taking a content, and I'm looking at one page 26 in her book, and it talks about the extraordinary. And sometimes people automatically say, well, I'm not unusual. Well, yes, you are. So let's take a moment, Tea Timers. If you'd like to go ahead and share it in the chat, we'd love to hear from you. But also, if you're taking some notes in your journal, and again, you can even go back into your journal and actually go back at something that you've written and say, how can I use this as a self-transformative time? Carmela calls them transformational moments. But you have to be intentional and deliberate about your unusuality. Not sure if that's a word, but we'll use that for right now. Okay. Your unusuality-ness, unusualness. Excuse me, I should have a more extensive vocabulary. But nonetheless, that's what I want us to concentrate on, is the importance of looking at what's unusual about you. And then once you notice that, then what you do is you begin to strengthen it. You begin to feed it. You begin to sharpen it. You begin to shine it. You begin to work that unusual part of who you are, that unusual nature about who you are. And that's how you can measure your growth. Yeah. That helps you with a growth mindset. It's all about shifting perception and shifting perspective. Hope, I see you want to share something. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say that that's really great. I was actually just taking down notes here from that to just add in. I think this is really great that we're doing this journaling activity, and I'm going to come back to it as well and just continue to kind of write and expound on, my thoughts of my uniqueness, or, so that's what I wanted to share.
You can also use this in terms of your job or your careers, folks. If you see yourself saying, I have some skill sets that aren't necessarily being used in my role, That's an unusual part of you that you need to really say, how can I utilize this unusual competency in the roles that I have? Because it's not in your job description. Your job is a description, but it's not a definition of who you are. So what you can do is you can look at your unusual characteristics that you have and say, how will I use this as leverage? How will I use this as leverage? Now, choose one area, folks, and let's work this as a renewal practice. Don't see many comments coming in, so you must be working over there. All right, so I'm going to move on into bring it up again on the screen. And I want to just reiterate the importance of unusual, what's uncommon about you, what's unique. And please feel free to place that in the comments. Now, before we move on to our next renewal practice, because we're doing renewal practices from Carmela's book, which is Be Transformed, Empowering You for Destiny. All right, it's about empowerment, it's about inspiration, it's about transformation. If you want to, I would encourage you, if you have not ordered her book, please scan this. You can go to transformational-moment.com, or you can you can scan the QR code and directly from her or from the publishing company. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you as a renewal practice. And again, we're talking about the renewal practice of the extraordinary. The renewal practice of the extraordinary. Now, here's what I did. As I began to think through ways I wanted to see myself grow, I realized I had an unusual gifting of alliteration, of imagery, and imaginative writing style, which is what I did. That's how I write. And so after the past 30 years of writing like this, now I'm shifting this to a more precise, accurate way. So what I began to do was I began to really focus on when I was paraphrasing and summarizing, I use more exact language and begin to blend that with my uncommon approach to writing. So I didn't lose myself in my growth. I began to emerge more about the talent that I currently possess. And I began to see myself grow in some of the mistakes and some of the errors. Begin to say, okay, that's just an area that's not at the developed level yet. That's how I saw it. Okay, it's in a place, it's not in a space where it's at its strongest developed place. So I began to shift my perspective and I honed in clearly on what was uncommon, what was unique, and what was unusual about my writing. And then I began to blend it with the principles that I was learning. And that's why my confidence began to grow. My perspective of what I was doing, that began to grow. I came out of a little funk in my head about, this is not where I needed to be, those types of things. And I was able to turn it around by being deliberate and intentional about what was unusual. And that actually happened last week. Because I told Hope Mel about this last week. Hey, here's what we're going to do about tea time. Let's try this out. Because I wanted to show you the importance of when you get material, all those books you have in your home, that you have in your e-reader, are we taking time to grab a renewal practice out of it by doing what we're doing right now? And I'm using page 26 for us to facilitate this kind of conversation. So Carmela, before we move on into Hope's book on the making of a diamond, any last words you want to share concerning the renewal practice of the extraordinary?
Yes, and I was just also wanting to share that even the word uncommon means rare. It means rare and it means seldom found. Isn't that amazing? And, you can use this renewal practice as an empowerment piece to look and see, what's more deeply in you and what you can bring to the table. Because we all have something that's rare. And when we look at it in not a negative way, but in a positive way, what do we have to offer? We have a lot to offer, and it's rare. Not only is it outstanding, unusual, unstanding, or remarkable, but it's rare. It's seldom found. And so I love that because that piece of uncommon now has a positive light to it.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. All right, folks. Well, if you're out there, please share with us. If you are writing, if you want to share in the comments, please feel free to share with us about what's unusual about you. I want to move on to the next Renewal practice, which is from Hope's book on the making of a diamond. In her chapter 5, she has a chapter called digging deep. So what I did was I went into a book and I went into chapter 5. And as I reread that chapter, because I read both their books, by the way, okay, they're not just looking pretty and collecting dust. All right. I began to read in it and I began to think about 3 areas that I could use as a renewal practice for digging deep. One was using pressure to develop character. She talks about how the process of a diamond begins 100 miles underground. So there's heat, there's pressure, etc. So I began to think about what I'm experiencing, and here's what I'd like us to do as a renewal practice for the renewal practice of digging deep. All right. I'd like you to think about where you are right now and what pressure is being applied to your life. Take your time. I'm going to use this as a coaching moment. I'm coaching from both their books. Renewal practice coaching today. So think about what pressure is being applied to your life right now. And I want you to answer the question, how am I growing from this?
That's good. That's good.
Let's just locate ourselves with that. Now, as you're thinking about that, Hope, you want to share a little bit about digging deep, perhaps?
Sure. This particular chapter regarding digging deep, and as you're talking about digging deep, it was written because, just my own experience of digging deep to find out who I am, and to grow from what I find as far as digging deep and understanding in correlation of a diamond, which a diamond is found in, you have to dig to find a diamond. And so I use that example to imply of how we dig to understand who we are, whether it's our good things or our shortcomings, our weaknesses and strengths. I use that chapter as an opportunity to say we have to continue to dig deep, not only to find out who we are, but to uncover and discover who we are. And so even with the diamond that is not uncovered, we can't see it because it's under the ground until, we dig until it's dug, till they drill and dig, and then they find the diamond, and then it goes through the process of development. And so even in the process of development, that is a digging deep. It's a perspective of changing your mindset of who you are and who God has embraced you to be and how valuable we are as individuals. And so this particular chapter was just an opportunity to share of my own experience, just a little bit of my own experience regarding the digging deep process and how important it is to dig deep. And when you're digging deep, even into sometimes those dark places, what are you getting? How are you growing? And how is this enhancing who you are?
All right. So thank you for elaborating on that. Now I want to show you folks, how do you extract the renewal practice out of a term like digging deep, or like a term called the extraordinary? See, the more that you sit with it and the more that you consider it, you start causing yourself to experience a renewal practice. Before I move forward, I want to just bring up a few more comments about unusual. Okay, Ravella says here, I'm an ambivert, an outgoing introvert. I embrace my flexibility to function in a variety of settings. I adjust to my environment. Thank you for sharing that. Monique says, our unique skill sets and characteristics are the very things that make us special. Thank you for sharing that. So folks, I want everybody to think through what is unusual about you specifically. Think about that, and how will you refine it? How will you sharpen it? How will you implement it? Then I asked the question, let me bring up the slide here again, as we move into the renewal practice of digging deep. How are you using that pressure? What are you gaining from that pressure? Whatever you're experiencing as far as pressure right now, how are you using that to develop and sharpen your core of who you are, which is your character? What can you benefit from that pressure right now? I go through the pressure many times in work that I do, where someone gives me something that's considered to be a micro issue or a tactical type of thing that's delegated to me at the last minute or something that I got to hurry up and implement. I said, okay. Then I began to think, I'm going to use this pressure as knowing how to take a breather and respond effectively. That was a pressure, a challenging moment. And I say, I will use this moment, this pressuring situation, to step back and recalibrate by taking my time and ensuring what type of response do I want to give instead of an automatic response. Instead of being microwave, I need to be crock pot in this moment in my response. Let it cook a little bit instead of me just, and I immediately go, oh, wait. It was processed. I really wasn't taking my time with it. So that's how I begin to think about, how am I going to respond? So I want you to consider, what are you experiencing right now that's incredible pressure that you can say, how am I using this? Now, this is not the time for you to get deep and say, everything working for my good. Really? How do you know it's working for your good? Are you working it for your good? For the deep folks out there. Okay? How do you know it's working for your good? Are you growing? Can you measure that growth? Is there an attitude adjustment and change?
That's good.
Mel, go ahead. I hear you want to share something. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm really liking this because when you're talking about looking at the pressure, I mean, it's squeezing. The pressure is pushing, but we can find the value of what we find within ourselves, just like Hope was sharing. When we are digging to uncover what we are developing ourselves in a certain area, and what I got out of it is, how am I going to respond to things with the pressure? But it's the pressure showing me how to respond this time, or it's showing me how am I viewing this whole situation, or is it going to help me enhance my situation? And so I like this with how the pressure is developing my character.
Right. And see, it's not enough for us to just say, I'm extraordinary. It's about what am I doing to ensure that I'm highlighting it, that I'm leveraging it. It's not enough just to say, oh, dig deep, but I'm not willing to put in the work to say, am I really stepping back and noticing how this particular pressure situation, what is it doing to me? Because it might be doing something that you don't need it to do. Right? So let's bring up a comment. Renita says, I'm experiencing the daily parenting pressure, how to be godly, healthy, mentally and physically. Example from my daughter through my words, actions, and being okay with raising her in a counter-cultural way. It is helping me to examine the behavior I am modeling in front of her through life experiences. Thank you for sharing that.
That's good.
So let's think about this. Renita's looking at the pressure of parenting. I'm looking at the pressure of what I was experiencing. Tea timers, how are you using pressure for your development, for your growth, for your expansion, in your job, in a friendship, in a relationship, in a connection, in something that you want to achieve, in a plan that you want to have? When there's a distraction, that can be pressure. Somebody else's strama. You know what strama means? That's stress and drama. So the strama of others, which is pressure, what are you doing? How are you responding? How are you growing from it? See, the whole goal behind this renewal practice is that I'm looking at these books and I'm thinking about the content. I'm trying to consider, how am I sitting with this and ensuring that I see measurable progress in reasonable time? Everybody write that down. Measurable progress in reasonable time. The opposite of that is making no progress at all. But when it's measurable, you know what happens? When it's measurable, you can duplicate it. When it's measurable, it becomes a principle. When it's measurable, it becomes a part of your being, and you begin to transfer that to someone else. See, that's why many times when you go to training, they say in learning and development, most of the time we don't remember half the things that we get when we go to these great conferences and we get all these binders and books. Y'all know what y'all do. Come on. You go put that thing up, you don't even go back to it. I went to this. Oh my gosh, I went to this training. And and the thing is you didn't sit with the content. We didn't sit with the content. It's just there sitting in our bookshelf or in a closet somewhere along with the rest of the clutter and the rest of the trainings that we went to. So measurable progress, reasonable time. How am I using this pressure to grow and develop myself? Now, let me go back to this because we've only got 12 minutes left. Goodness gracious, this is going well. I'm enjoying this. All right, so I want to, one more time, just look at the other two that I extracted from Hope's book, and then Hope, I want you to comment on this as well. She talked about I extracted using hiddenness to grow in a hidden season. That means when it seems like things aren't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like you have a higher expectation, but it seems like it's just not. I like to say your get up and go has gotten up and gone. What's going on? So how am I using this hiddenness, this moment where it seems like I'm not getting where I would like to go? How can I grow during this season? And lastly, diamonds are underground. So how am I using this dark moment to move into light times? I got all that from one page as well. So imagine if you sat with those additional 2 renewal practices, not only will you develop yourself, but then you'll have conversations of development with others that you're around. Hope, what thoughts do you have on that? I know you're the author of this, but that's what I got from your writing. Go ahead.
Well, I definitely, that's definitely what it means. It's just, if you can put that back up again, the slide for me, please. Mm-hmm. And the one using hiddenness to grow in a hidden season. That hiddenness is a time of development. That hiddenness is a time of growth. And so we have to understand that those things that even in a hidden season, and I'm a gardener, and so when things are hidden, when seeds are planted, those things are cultivating under the dirt. They're growing under the dirt. They're developing under the dirt, but we cannot see it. And so sometimes even in the digging process, we it's a time of being patient. Digging is a process, okay? And being engulfed in a what you would call a dark place or a hidden place, it's a process to even get to the diamond, right? Because they're digging to get to it. Even though it's in a hidden place, it's of value in the hidden place. Even though we can't see it, this valuable thing is in a hidden place. And what happens is once uncovered, then it goes through, even in a dark place, it goes through the transformation, it goes through the development, it goes through the pressure, it goes through the development of character. And so, even in that hidden place that maybe we feel like maybe nothing's going on or nothing's happening, there is something happening. Growth and development is what's taking place. And sometimes, even in my book, I try to express to be patient with ourselves, to show grace to ourselves, because sometimes we have to just take that time to allow that hidden place to develop us, that hidden place to really show us who we are, and allow the development to take place in the hidden place.
Yes, this is good. So I want to just encourage everyone. First of all, we're going to go back to the questions again for this particular slide, this renewal practice. And again, I want you to think about how are you using pressure? And really answer this. If you're in a season where it's like you're hidden, in other words, what's going on right now, how are you using that for your development to grow? How is the dark moment you're in right now helping you move into a light time? See, in order for a diamond to emerge, it must be unearthed. In order for a seed, it has to break through its outer shell. What kind of self-imposed limitations have I placed on my life that I'm now looking at, that I need to emerge in differently? Okay, again, we're using content to self-renew, to self-transform, to self-regulate. Let's see what more comments have come in. Yes, measurable progress in reasonable time. Yes, that's what we want to think about. Everybody think about that, measurable progress. I'm learning to lead in different settings, nonprofit, adjusting mindsets, and with a variety of people who have various motivations, working to meet and understand better where they are, also learning to release what doesn't belong to me. Thank you for sharing that. Some more comments coming in here. Pressure revealed who is authentic in my life and allowed me to pivot my time and attention on those who have my best interest. Thank you for sharing that. This is good. Thanks everyone for sharing. What I like to do is I also want to give you time if you're still reading through or writing right now. Again, I'm going to go back over these last two slides. The renewal practice of digging deep. How are you using pressure to develop character? Really think about that. How is that pressure developing you? How is that hidden moment causing you to grow in a hidden season? Think about that. Think about the moment you're in that's helping you move into the light. Think about the renewal practice of extraordinary. Why are you unusual? And really sharpen it. Why are you unusual and uncommon and unique? Why are you doing tea times? That's unusual. Yeah. I'm going to continue to do it because I recognize the unusual nature of how I approach engaging others. That's unusual about the Renewal Center. That's unusual about what we do. That's unusual that on a Tuesday evening, we're sitting here talking about renewal practices and development. And I'm going to do one last thing before we finish our renewal practices for this evening. Hope I would also bring up, again, if you'd like to order through Hope, you can scan at this time. Also, you can go to hopediamondsministries.org online. All right, so both of my colleagues, leaders here at the Renewal Center, have two incredible books. And I wanted to show you how you can develop a renewal practice from content right in your own home, right in your own hand. Pick up that book that you haven't read in a while. Order these books. Go back and look at the books if you have these and really sit with this content. I think that would be very helpful. All right, let's hear some more here. I'm reminded of the uniqueness of the turtle who sticks its neck out to move forward. This is classic. There is value and worth as it moves forward. There are times of pulling back in the dark shell for a moment to refresh and recalculate. Keep pressing. Thank you for sharing that. Here's some more comments. I use the pressure of my life experiences to stretch and strengthen me in ways to spring forth to reveal wholeheartedly the core of who I am and loving the discovery. Pressure can be a time of shedding. Thank you for sharing all this, folks. This is good stuff this evening. Now, I want to bring up one more thing. Let's play on words. Some of you that are sitting in ACs right now, and I thought about the ventilation system, and I called it the HVAC method. Now, work with me this evening, okay? Work with me in this last practice. When you think about HVAC, you think about ventilation, you think about filters, flow of air. And I thought about the H being healthy. And the way that you have a healthy view of yourself and others is by your own visualization, your own affirmation, and what's in circulation. Now, visualization being what do you envision about yourself? What's going on in your mind about you? What do you visualize about yourself? What do you affirm about yourself? Affirmation, again, is about the self-talk. It's about the self-talk or your script that you need to unscribe, perhaps. So the H is to be healthy, which means it's a good, healthy state. What am I visualizing about me? Mm-hmm. Now that I go back and I got to write my paper, I'm visualizing I'm a thought leader. I'm visualizing I'm a quantitative scholar. I'm visualizing how I'm writing. I'm visualizing how I'm paraphrasing. I'm visualizing how I'm summarizing. I'm now setting a vision and casting a vision for where I'm going to be and what's going to happen. Then I'm going to affirm it by saying it out loud. or by replaying it. That's why companies have vision and mission statements. That's why we have values. We have those things so we can affirm what we're visualizing or visualizing what we affirm. And then that last place was C, put it in circulation, put it in a cycle, put it in a pattern, rehearse it over and over and over and over again until you know it's healthy in your life. Thoughts on the HVAC method, Hope, Mel, and then we'll close out our renewal practice for this evening.
I like this very much so, looking at this acronym. And I guess for me, visualization, being able to see who you really are, seeing yourself in an extraordinary way, seeing yourself digging deep to explore who you are. I think the visualization piece is jumping out at me more because it's how we see ourselves ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that because you said that equates being healthy, of course, with affirmation and circulation, but that jumped out at me.
All right. Thank you. Hope?
I just want to say this is really good. I love the acronym, and everything sticks out here: the visualization, affirmation, and circulation. But the first word, healthy, I'm thinking healthy visualization. Like, what am I thinking? Healthy. What am I affirming and saying? And how is that circulating through my mindset and circulating through my life? And so this is definitely a great journal point here to continue to write upon and continue to grow that up, grow upon that and expound upon. But definitely a great affirmation. This is really, really good. The affirmation really sticks out because it's kind of like, what am I thinking? What am I saying? And then how is it circulating in my mind? How is it circulating in my life? How is it producing? What results is being produced from this particular acronym here? So the main thing is, awareness of healthy, healthy visions, healthy affirmation, and healthy circulation. So this is really great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you both. And thank you both for writing. Thank you for casting your vision in your writing. And again, I just want to bring back up ways that you can reach out to Carmela and to Hope as well. Not only through the Renewal Center, you can always reach out to them through the Renewal Center, but also to their personal websites and their contact information that I'm placing on the screen. So please feel free to reach out to them through all their social media contacts, through LinkedIn as well. And then, of course, in their websites, you can also contact them through the Renewal Center if you want to really connect with them as coaches. And Hope does the ID strategy. Carmela does mindset development in her coaching, also literary coaching as well with First Glance as well. She's got some journals that are out there as well. So I want to give you an opportunity to connect with both of these authors in their own right as they're helping you grow in these renewal practices. So I hope that this has been beneficial to everyone this evening to really demonstrate here's how you extract a renewal practice out of what you read. All right, before we go, please, everyone, please share with us your takeaways for today. What did you gain? What did you glean from our tea time this evening here at the Renewal Center? That's one of our tenets, is Renewing Minds. As we're doing this, I just want to share also one of our team members on our ministry team, Monique Jackson, has on Wednesdays what we call Winning Wednesdays. She leads Kingdom at Work as well. And so if you're in the middle of your day for 30 minutes, jump in on a Zoom, you need an empowerment session to strengthen you, to bring the kingdom of God into the work that you do, you can join her every Wednesday at noon for Winning Wednesdays. There's a Zoom ID right there on the screen. And you can just take a moment to disconnect from your day and to be strengthened in the work that you do. So I just wanted to acknowledge the work that she is doing on Wednesdays at noon. I've attended them and they've been a strength to me as well. So here on Tuesday, it's called Giving Tuesday here at the Renewal Center. So again, I'd like to encourage you, if you really see the vision and mission of the Renewal Center, and this has been a benefit to you, I'd like you to consider being a partner with us here at the Renewal Center. That you can donate to the Renewal Center. We are a nonprofit organization here in North Carolina. And so here are the different ways that you can give to us digitally as well as through the mail. You can go to our website. Now, as you're doing that, I want to encourage you to download the mobile app. Our mobile app has words on Monday to motivate you. We have a blog feature. You can listen to our video and our audio content. You can submit prayer requests. You can contact us, turn your notifications on. So feel free to go to your app store right now. You can also download and give through the mobile app and become a consistent partner with us. You can text to give there. If you text Renewal Center to 888-364-4483, you can do PayPal or also Zelle at the Renewal Center 2020 at Gmail. You can Cash App also Renewal Center and Venmo at Renewal Center. And feel free also to mail a check or money order. PO Box 381, Concord, North Carolina 28026. I wanted to give you an opportunity to go ahead and watch this and sit with this evening and really support the Renewal Center. We are growing. We'd like to start developing more in our grief recovery services that we're looking to expand as well. Also want to give you an opportunity to continue to support the Tea Time and also come and share with us. If you're in the Concord, Charlotte area, even if you're passing through the area, please feel free to come here at our site. I'm right here today. Carmela's here today. You can come to our art and voice room. You can come and sit in our library and our thought room. If you want to plan, you can come and be a part of our action room. We're excited about that, the services and programming that we're doing, because it's all about renewing you. And so that's the community that we're here for. And we do it through hospitality. You can come and be Southern and sit on the porch and people watch too, while you're drinking your tea and your coffee. So we just want to give you an opportunity to also, again, remind you to download the mobile app. And also this coming Sunday, we have our first Sunday is the New You. So we'll be streaming live on our social media accounts as well as on YouTube. So please feel free to connect with us this coming Sunday at 10 a.m. and let somebody know the Renewal Center is going live on the New You this coming Sunday at 10 a.m. We've been having some incredible teaching, transformative content, and so excited about what's been happening here at the Renewal Center. So let's see if any other comments are coming up on takeaways. All right, let's share these takeaways. All right, my takeaway, unusual and uncommon can have positive connotations. All right, thank you for sharing that. These have been great renewal practices. I'm learning to identify and build upon my uniqueness. Thank you so much for sharing that. Awesome. Seeing the flaws and frills of who you are with the willingness to make adjustments or till the soil as needed to create or maintain a healthy environment. Hey, Pamela, thank you for being on as well. Pamela says she was out teaching. Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. We'll catch the replay, Pamela. Hello. Thank you for coming on. All right. So I hope that this has been beneficial to everyone. Thank you for coming on Tea Time from our team to yours. As we always say, I am Renewal. We look forward to seeing you the next time we are together. Not next Tuesday. We don't have it. We've canceled next Tuesday. So it's the following Tuesday. All right. But again, I want to give you an opportunity to connect with us here at the Renewal Center. Oh, one more comment's coming in. Unapologetically unusual. All right. We got all the uns tonight. The U's and the uns. I am Renewal. All right. This has been great. Carmela, hope these things were good.
Oh yes, this was extraordinary, and I'm thinking about those just real quick before you close out. The little red piece for both of us. I was thinking. I said, the first one was set apart, but then I saw the extraction of the digging deep part. I said, okay, I'm getting a lot out of this.
All right now. All right. With your image, your art interpretation.
Yes.
It was curating. Yes, yeah. Great session. Thank you for coming on. You're welcome, everyone. All right. Well, we'll see you next time, everybody.
Right.
Thanks so much for being on this evening. Right. I'm going to bring up the screen so you can have an opportunity to support us as well as we close out. Thanks.